This one says we're going to solve an exponential equation, but we're going to solve it by graphing. So we're going to use the intersection feature of the graphing calculator to answer each question. Let's go ahead and start by answering this question for the function f of x equals 6 to the x minus 1 power. We're supposed to determine the value of x for which f of x equals 776. So we're trying to determine when this value equals 776. And if you are looking at it on the graph, this is your f of x axis, and this is your x-axis. So we're looking at a graph, and we're trying to determine when the y-axis, or the f of x axis, is equal to 7,776. So let's go ahead and use Desmos. And I'm going to put my x minus 1 in parentheses, because if you don't put it in parentheses, what's going to happen is it's going to automatically shift this minus 1 down, and it won't be up in the exponent anymore. So make sure that you include parentheses around it so you can keep that -1 up there in the exponent position. And we're supposed to determine when f of x, when this is going to be equal, the y-axis is going to be equal to 1776. Sorry, 7776. Let me make sure I wrote that down correctly. Yeah. And our y-axis only goes up to 10. So I'm going to go ahead and make my y-axis go up to a little higher than that. And you should be able to look and see when it's going to equal 7,776. And it's going to equal that after when x is equal to 6. So if we go to the x down here on the 6, it'll equal, f of x will be 7,776. So on the x-axis, it's 6. So when it says which value of x, when x equals 6, f of x is going to be 7,776. And then let's look at our second one. We've got this function, f of x equals -4 to the x plus 2 power. And we're supposed to determine when f of x is going to be negative. So it's actually going to go like down this way, negative. So when f of x is -4,096, it's probably going to look like this. It's going to be decreasing, and you're trying to determine the x value. So let's go ahead and look and see what that function looks like. -4 to the x plus 2 power. And we need to determine when it's going to equal -4,096. Currently, our x-axis or y-axis only goes down to like hardly anything. So we're going to have to change it so that our y-axis goes down far enough. Let's make it go down to -5,000. That might be a good thing to start with. And we want to know when that's equal. So that's -4,096. Oops. And it's going to be when x equals 4. So you can go up to the x-axis right here. When x equals 4, it's going to hit the graph at -4,096. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you go down, and this is where f of x equals 4,096. And that was at 4 years.